The book of Romans was written to the church in Rome, and it shows that the new covenant had been created through the death and the resurrection of Jesus. So, who wrote it? Scholars unanimously agree that Paul is the source of Romans. So let's look at some of the evidence that shows that Paul is the source of Romans. Well, Romans 1:1 starts off with a claim to authorship. It says that Paul, a servant of Christ Jesus, called to be an apostle, set apart for the gospel of God. There is no debate, and it is widely accepted that Paul is the source of Romans. According to Norman Geisler and William Nix, Romans was cited or alluded to by Clement of Rome around 96 AD, Polycarp around 110 to 130 AD, and Justin Martyr around 150 AD, and just about every other church father. There is a good chance that Paul had a scribe write down what he said, because he probably had vision problems. This doesn't change that Paul is the author of Romans. It just means that he had someone write it down because of these vision problems that most likely happened to Paul. 2 Corinthians 12:7 attests to a, quote, thorn in the flesh that affects Paul. Galatians 4:15 attests to where it seems like the Galatians would give Paul their eyes if he could, so Paul could have better eyesight. In Acts 23 attests to Paul having difficulties recognizing the high priest. Additionally, we can see that Paul most likely had a scribe because Romans 16:22 says that I, Tertullius, wrote down this letter, greet you in the Lord. So the question of who is the source of Romans isn't debated among secular or Christian circles. The answer is that Paul dictated it, and his words were copied down by his scribe, Tertullius. Romans is part of the 7 undisputed epistles attributed to Paul. Romans has always been attributed to Paul by the Apostolic Fathers, and Romans has always been a part of the canon, and the internal writing style is consistent with the other Pauline apostles. So there it is. The author of Romans is Paul. So thanks for listening, guys. I'm Zach. This is Ed here in Apologetics, and I'll see you next time.